Hi folks, it's James, JT at the Movies, back again here in the movie space. And this time I'm joined by my lovely girlfriend Laura.
Hello.
And this evening we thought we'd just share our very quick thoughts on the fantastic film that came out last year from DC, Warner Brothers, Todd Phillips. That is Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix. So, Joker is what DC would refer to as an Elseworlds tale, so it's not set in any sort of main continuity of the DC extended universe that's currently going on with, you know, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Superman, and the Ben Affleck Batman sort of thing. It's nothing to do with any of that. It's purely its own standalone tale. We follow Arthur Fleck, who is played by Joaquin Phoenix. He lives in sort of a rundown part of Gotham City in the early 1980s with his mum. Both he and his mum are mentally ill. Arthur is receiving sort of city-funded counselling and medication. He works as a party clown and does sort of advertisements. He has a run of bad luck with the clown job, where he ends up having a sign stolen from him and ends up getting attacked by the gang that stole the sign from him. So one of his colleagues suggests that he starts carrying a gun, gives him a gun. He then goes to do a gig at a children's hospital and the gun falls out of his clothes. So he ends up getting let go from that job. It's on the train home from that incident and that firing that he is then confronted and taunted by a group of Wall Street bankers that are drunk or on drugs on the train. Something finally snaps within Arthur and he becomes the Joker. He shoots the three Wall Street bankers, and without realising it, it inspires a movement. The story, and I won't spoil too much more, but the story sort of digresses from there. He ends up getting invited onto his favourite late night talk show, which is Live with Murray Franklin, played very, very well by Mr. Robert De Niro. And the film sort of climaxes there, really. And I won't say too much more, because if you haven't seen it, with it being a very recent film, I don't want to spoil much more. Do you know my thoughts for this? So this is the second time. We watched this last night, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, yeah.
And this was the second time that I'd watched this film. And I'll be totally honest, when I saw this in the cinema, while I appreciated that it was a really good film, that Joaquin Phoenix had done a really good job, and as a Todd Phillips, and everybody involved had done a really good job, I just came out of it feeling like just something wasn't quite right for me. Something just didn't tick the box. And I felt a little underwhelmed almost, even though, like, you know, all these individual parts were great, but the sum of the whole thing just didn't seem to tick the box. Anyway, obviously it's been released to Blu-ray this week here in the UK. I've picked it up, and we had a bit of a movie night watching this last night, and you know what? I'm really pleased to say that my opinion of the film has changed. I really enjoyed it a lot more this time. I really appreciated a lot of the subtle details in Joaquin's performance. I appreciated things like the musical score and the sort of the way that it's directed, and some of the cinematography in the film, and just how well a fictional but ultimately inspired by real life sort of 1980s city might be. Joaquin Phoenix, and obviously you've said before, he just puts in an absolutely fantastic performance. He doesn't take it too far, but he does just enough so that it's recognisable that he is actually playing the Joker.
He knows just where that line is, doesn't he? Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. What did you think of it, Laura?
I absolutely loved it. First time we watched it and second time. Really, really did. I think for me, seeing the character dynamic change a bit, seeing the Wayne family's more of the antagonists, would you say?
Yeah, they're more of an antagonist. They're not a direct antagonist.
Yeah,
but
you've got Thomas Wayne, who's kind of like he's running for mayor, kind of cares more about the upper class, doesn't really show. He claims to show a bit of care for the lower class part, which sort of starts the movement off because they know he's basically lying.
He refers to them as clowns, doesn't he? And he basically says, well, you know, if you've not got anything to show for your life, you're nothing but a clown.
Yeah.
And almost sort of inspires this movement.
It's just nice to see a bit of role reversal, would you say it is?
It was an interesting take, yeah. Because normally, obviously, you see the Joker, and he's normally just fully fledged Joker, crown prince of crime. Crown Prince of Crime.
Yes.
I shall leave that one in for you folks. But he's normally, just the Joker that we all sort of know and love from the comics. Be that Jack Nicholson's take, Heath Ledger's take, even the Jared Leto stuff, or the Mark Hamill's fantastic portrayal in the animated universes. We don't really see much of this sort of how he became to be. And I found this quite an interesting take.
Yeah.
I thought that it was really clever from Todd Phillips's part how the story's woven together to the point where you don't quite know what's real and what's out and out fantasy for him, and then with the stuff that is real, you don't know how distorted that is.
No.
Like, there are subplots and things, and again, I won't spoil what they are, but there are subplots that are sort of hinted at and explored, and then those seem to get resolved, and then there are things that come up later on that actually leave a bit of a doubt in your mind, don't they?
Questioning stuff. Yeah, did this happen? Did it not happen? What did he do here? Yeah, definitely. I think for me, definitely Joaquin Phoenix. I mean, my goodness me, he put in one amazing performance. He really, truly did. There's one scene in it where his boss is yelling at him, and just the look on his face and that smile he puts on, it's like, this is someone who clearly has some kind of mental difficulty, but you can just tell without him saying anything. You can identify that just from that look.
And I think it's the look of, like, there's a few moments in it, and it's almost just sort of like the poor guy's crying out for help in every opportunity, in every angle of his life. He says to the psychiatrist, "You're not listening to me." He's trying to explain to his boss he was jumped, he was attacked by the gang of youths, and that it wasn't his fault. He's trying to explain that his friend gave him the gun, and he understands he shouldn't have taken it to a hospital, but he didn't. And it's that sort of snapping sort of moment, isn't it? And like you say, he's able to portray it in his eyes, isn't he?
It's all in the eyes.
It's like it's in his eyes and his facial expressions, and by the end of the film, obviously, like I say, he's not quite there yet in terms of the Joker that we all sort of know and love from other media, but he's on his way to it. When he stands atop the police car at the end and sort of revels in all the sort of madness that he's released, it's you sort of start to see it then, and he
draws the smile.
Yeah, he draws a smile on his face and everything. Just a really well done, really well done film. Obviously, it's gained a lot of awards, hasn't it, Laura?
Joaquin Phoenix has won 4 Best Lead Actor awards, Screen Actors Guild, BAFTAs, Golden Globe, and his first ever Oscar win.
Yes, he's been nominated previously for the likes of Walk the Line. I think Gladiator, hasn't it? It was, but obviously he's won it this time. Now, had you have asked me, and I've actually had this conversation with friends, had you have asked me previously to this revisit, I was on the fence as to whether I thought it was, whether maybe the Oscar should have gone to somebody else. But having rewatched it and really sort of taken in all the, like I say, the subtle nuances of the performance, that coupled with the story and the direction and just everything, it's like, actually, it's a really well-deserved award. And the guy has absolutely put in a phenomenal turn. There's buzz and rumour at the moment that they're talking about doing a sequel, and I hope and I pray that they don't, purely because this feels...
Where could you go from there?
The thing is, it feels, because it's such an Elseworld story, it feels like that is the beginning and the end of that story. If you were to do another film set in that universe where you bring Batman into it, or try and bring other characters into it or whatever, it would just take away from everything that he's put in, because he's gone on that journey now. He is the Joker, and so there's no more sort of, empathising with him as a human being. There's no more feeling sorry for the journey that he's gone on. At this point, he is just, a murderous clown.
And as interesting as it would be to see Joaquin Phoenix fighting Robert Pattinson, it just wouldn't...
Well, I don't think they'd bring those two universes together. I think if they were going to put Batman in these films, they'd have to cast somebody else, to be fair.
I think so,
but it's made a lot of money, it's won all these awards, and I just really, really hope that they don't try and franchise it, and that they leave it as this standalone film. I'm really happy. It's not often that I go back to a film for a second watch and my opinion of it changes. And I'm really happy to watch that again and thoroughly enjoyed it. Well, folks, thank you very much for watching this vlog. Any comments, any feedback, any discussions you want to have, like I'm always saying, drop it in the commentary below, and I'll get back to you. I'm happy to have a chat about anything film related. Thank you so much again for watching. If you've liked what you've seen and you want to support this channel, give me a like, give me a share on social media, and please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Cheers.